Welcome back, everyone. So, I've taken a little bit of a break. My last video I talked about how I was considering the different options to continue this channel, and of those options, the one I ended up going with was continuing Interloper, for better or worse. And yeah, so let's see, last time I played it, it doesn't say the day. Oh, it does. So it was a little over a week ago. Today's February 8th. So I managed to get what I consider to be just as far as the previous run, but I did it in 25 days instead of the near 50 I was at. So I consider that a sign of progress, and so I was excited about that and happy about that, and then life came back, as it does, and I had a lot of other stuff I had to do, so I actually haven't looked at this in a while. So here we are. This is the new run. So I did record everything up to this point. I've recorded every video all the way up to this scenario, and hopefully this doesn't take time for me to explain what happened, but I mean in game time. But basically, I did pretty much an immediate Interloper run. I think I took a couple days off, because losing an Interloper run sucks. But I wanted to continue as quickly as I could while I had the idea still fresh in my mind, and I started up and went from Pleasant Valley all the way to Desolation Point, all the way through to back to Mystery Lake, and since then I've stayed mostly in Mystery Lake to sort of take advantage of this bountiful location. Now, let's see. One of the reasons I'm really happy with this build, this run, I guess is the more accurate term, is I've actually managed to, like I said, get everything I had before, but a little bit more. So I got to the point where I got the boots and the pants, and as you can see, they're not at 0%, which is quite nice. My hat and gloves have taken some damage from a recent wolf attack, but more on that later, I guess. So what I've been considering is, since I recorded those videos, one thing I did was I recorded them without doing commentary, because I was just trying to get back into the game. I wanted to try and at least get to the same point to kind of cover my losses, because again, it sucks losing an Interloper, but it took me a couple runs to actually get back up to par, I guess. And one of the factors with that was I was doing that without recording commentary. This has always freaked me out. These are like the exact signs that we find in Ontario for their national parks. So it's just a little bit eerie. It's like something you'd see on the highway, just passing by. I love it. Mystery Lake, and like of course like the French equivalent too. It's a really nice little detail. Lac Mystère. Anywho, it's probably terrible French pronunciation. But what I ended up doing was a lot of the same kind of things I did in my previous run, but sort of in reverse. So instead of going to Mystery Lake, I went to Desolation Point, and I did that pretty much right out of Pleasant Valley, and I used that forge. So I got, I mean, I don't want to spoil it too much. Part of my way of I think of continuing the series would be, I don't really have a lot of time to record a lot more, but I could potentially record the build up to this build, for lack of a better term, the run that I made for this build. So so what I could do is in sort of a tutorial like fashion, I could go back and show you the run that I made that got me to this point, while also kind of continuing to release every once in a while a video on this new session. So you would know while watching the old sessions that I don't die, at least, you know, I don't that it's going to be successful, and that the things that I'm talking about hopefully will be informative and not leading you astray. But for the most part, they will still be sort of these educational kind of videos, or I mean, not really educational. I mean, again, this game is not meant to be a proper survival simulator, as they say in the disclaimer, but at the same point, I do enjoy the things I've learned from this game. And yeah, so what I was thinking about doing was recording sort of 20-minute sessions over the previous gameplay videos that I've made on this game, or on this run. I'm having trouble with that that phrase for some reason. But and then you'd know that at least it was somewhat productive, and we did get to a point where there's a degree of sustainability here. Now, from what I remember, again, it has been 8 days since I got to this playthrough, but one of the major things that I wanted to work on was getting a substantial amount of gut, because gut is your major sort of limiting reagent when it comes to a lot of your creations, or a lot of your the gear that you want to build, the gear that you want to craft. So you'll see that I'm actually getting quite close to the wolf. What's it called? The wolf coat. Yeah. I actually have 2 here. It's 4 total. I have a couple extra rabbit pelts here for repairs. So I'm actually in a relatively sustainable situation. However, I do remember that I wanted to leave Mystery Lake somewhat soon, because I am concerned that I've exhausted my resources here. However, I don't know how true that really is, because I did rush out to Desolation Point in the previous run in a pretty hasty way, and I don't want to do that again for sure. Drink. So to my viewers that were more inclined to see me do a run of the challenges, I totally respect that, and I do want to do that. It's definitely on my list. In fact, I actually tried to do a couple different runs at that in the couple days back in January, when I was trying to figure out how to continue this. Sorry, that's how new I am. I did it again. So I accidentally always press Control instead of Shift to sprint. Yeah, look at the nonsense I've got going on in this session. No, the thing is, I do want to do the challenges, and I think they would be fun. But one of the other proposals I made was doing the challenges in Interloper, and I think I might actually be able to do it in this run. So I want to know what you guys think about that. I think it would be fun to try and get to the top of the mountain, Timberwolf Mountain, and getting that flare gun and then shooting it off at the top of the Desolation Point, just before I do it on the standard, because honestly I found it too easy. I was playing at it a couple times, and while I didn't get it all the way through it, and not because I died or anything, but just because I was kind of bored by it, I think playing on Voyager and whatnot is just a little bit unsatisfying once you play Interloper for an extended period of time. And I definitely did this run out of the sort of momentum I had from the previous run. So I have an abundance of things. I'm actually doing really, really well. I learned a lot from the last run, and I would love to review those lessons I learned in the while going over my previous content if you guys want to see that. So let me know if you want to see that. Otherwise, my other option is I would like to just I'm good with whatever, but my other option is that I would continue playing through on this run and showing you further and further into the end game content and not focusing at all on commentating on those there it is on those previous videos. So if you want to see the backstory to this character, to oh yeah, it's female. She's female. I played a female in this run, a woman in this run. If you want to see this this backstory, if you want to see how I got here and how you can be sustainable in Interloper in 27 days, relatively sustainable, I can show you that. Otherwise, I can just go over, sort of a run through of the path I took and everything else. Anyways, that being said, I'm actually going to play a little bit here. I'm not going to just wander around looking at the stuff that I have, although I do that normally in my playthroughs. So where was I? Let me try and recount. So I've been talking a bunch. I've been taking in a little bit of this, but one thing about Interloper is you really start to become attached to your daily plans, where if I think about what I did yesterday in this game, yeah, even this kind of thing, this is so Canadian. You'd come to the camp office and you try to book like a location. I'm sorry, this is my total ADHD thing going on, but you'd come up to this thing and then they would ask you to book a location on the lake or on Mystery Lake. Is this actually a proper map? Like, looks like that could be the lake. I don't know. Maybe this is a map to another region. This is kind of a fun little Easter egg. It doesn't really look like the lake because it's pretty thin there, but I mean that could be the river down the lake and then whatnot. But anywho, what was I saying? I actually forget. Yeah, part of the thing is part of the reason for jumping back into this is because I do want to make some end game content. I really want to get to that end game, but it's tough to get there, and I managed to get to a point where I felt like I was nearly there. So now we're actually in the warmest part of the day. But I'm gonna look back at this and think I totally lost my train of thought because of that map, and that's Interloper. So the fun thing is, my train of thought, and maybe this is totally appropriate too. Is that flag waving? Now it's waving. Your train of thought gets totally derailed by little things, and that can throw you off in this game. So I think what I was saying was that you do get kind of aligned with a schedule, and or at least like a day-by-day playthrough of things. And what I'm doing right now is incredibly risky. I think there's a wolf right over there, and I think I might be heading directly towards it. And it might be heading directly towards me. So I tried to approach things slightly differently in this run. I made a lot of mistakes when it came to the wolves in the previous run, and in this situation, in this playthrough, I've definitely tried to not make those same mistakes. And so you'll see that what I'm going to do right now is let this wolf get as close as it wants to get, but I'm going to actually jump back up onto this porch, and I'm going to take off my hat and my gloves, because I don't want to risk that at all. So, don't mind me. I always make the mistake. Bang, 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 bang. Okay, so if I screw up this shot, because I think that wolf actually can't come and hit me on this porch. He can. Can he? No, he can't. Okay. Just making sure. He won't run for too long. hopefully. Okay, so I just wanted to double check because I really don't want to lose my hat and scarf, or hat and other hat and etc. So what I've been doing is I've been doing that, and that was something I learned at the end of the last session. So here's progress. To progress. So if I get attacked by this wolf, I'm at 100%, and he's not going to mess me up. But the idea is hopefully I down him, and it's not even particularly cold. I mean, it's cold because I took off my stuff. But it shouldn't be too bad. And kind of set up a failsafe here, just in case it gets a little sketchy. But yeah, there it is. So got a way better system down, and of course this also comes from being at Mystery Lake. But remember when I wanted to do this exact thing? Well, there it is. So thank you, Wolfie, and we will make good use of your sacrifice. I appreciate you, and let's see what I can do. To prove that. Oh, okay. So, -4. Okay, not even that bad, still. In the meantime, I'm going to do this. Because with -4, I think I'm good. It's always nice to have extra wolf coats, or extra wolf pelts for repairing that jacket. I mean, obviously I'm not at the point where I'm even making my jacket yet, but we'll start with that. So, I mean, to be fair, this level of abundance is not representative of the whole run. There were definitely struggles throughout the run, and it's this level of abundance that usually leads to mistakes. So I'm not going to be too cocky about it, but it feels good when you're on top of it in Interloper. So I'm definitely willing to go back and show that whole process. I've managed to read a few books, and as you can see, I've got my levels to a similar point as the previous run. Definitely spent less time ice fishing, which is something I'm going to continue to want to do. Getting my fire starting to 3 will also be a major milestone. That's something that makes a huge difference in the adventuring scenario. So if I do actually want to go up to the Timberwolf Mountain, then having fire starting is going to make a big difference there. My archery is still at 2, as I think it was in the previous session, and carcass harvesting is all the way back up to 3 again, which is quite nice. And I didn't have a chance to discuss that with the journal episode because that was, for some reason it doesn't show you your journal or your experience in the journal, but carcass harvesting is a big deal. So I've been trying to keep 5 cloth and 15 sticks on me the whole time. That's been something that I've been doing throughout. You'll see that I've got sort of the basic medicinal things here too. My gear is actually quite a bit better. I did manage to find, this one, the Mackinac jacket, which is huge. I'm not sure if it's the best item, but it's definitely up there. It's comparable to the wolf jacket too, so great find. I found that here in Mystery Lake. I actually haven't been to the Forlorn Muskeg yet, so my plan was either to go to the Forlorn Muskeg and then go to the Broken Railroad, which I believe connects to Mountain Town. So that would be like a long-term sort of run. Like, that would be my sort of coastal highway desolation point sort of goal from the previous session, knock on wood. But Or I guess I shouldn't knock on wood, because then it would be the same as it was the last time. You know what I mean? Basically, I don't... And of course, a blizzard comes as soon as I mention those places. Anywho, that's one of the options. The other option would be to go to the dam, back through the dam, up to Pleasant Valley, up to the Timberwolf Mountain, and then over, back through Coastal Highway to Desolation Point to shoot off that flare gun. I mean, it could be fun, but I feel like this is also a really, really solid Interloper run. And I mean, how can I prove it? Okay, Interloper, look, it's Interloper. Maybe that's not surprising to everybody, but yeah, I guess when you're chilling in Mystery Lake, everything can be wonderful like this. But yeah, it's interesting. It was a very different spawn this playthrough, and did I make all of my arrowheads here? I think I did. Or sorry, arrow shafts. I don't have any birch saplings curing, but I have 12 arrow shafts. Yeah, look at this level of abundance. This is wonderful. I have a fire striker. I've used a bit of it, to be fair, but I've got an abundance of water and food, which I didn't really go over. But I'm just doing this as sort of a an episode to kind of bring back the run. So this is the beauty of Mystery Lake. Like, it is nowhere near as cold as Coastal Highway. Got a system here where if it's not wind blocked over there, like if the wind's coming from like that direction, like right here, it's all good. We got a system here, guys. And to be fair, I haven't been watching any videos of other people playing this game, so I'm coming up with the system on my own. If you want to see it, I will post it, and I will do the playthrough. I just need interest in that. Otherwise, it's a lot of work for nothing. If you'd rather me, like, basically, again, the question comes down to, would you rather me get to that moose? It's not a moose. And, Spiderweb is kind of cool, though. Would you rather see me take down a moose? Or would you rather me spend my time going back over those videos? I'll probably do both either way, eventually. But, yeah, spend my time kind of pushing this playthrough a little bit further. Those are the options. I'm gonna cabin fever if I'm not careful here. But I guess I don't have to do a whole episode. You know what? I might wait until I plan this out a little bit better. I definitely wanted to just take a look here and see what's going on, because it has been, like I said, a few days since I've actually gotten back to this playthrough. But I wanted to catch you guys up on what's going on, and yeah, you can see we've got some good things happening here. I will be making a wolf coat, which was the next step that I wanted to be at for the previous run. I've basically managed to get, I know I haven't lived as long as in my previous session. I haven't gotten to day 40 or whatever, but 43 I think was where I was at, or later. But I've definitely achieved a level of sustainability that I think is a bit more realistic for our purposes, for our interest to push further. So I haven't been mauled by a bear, I don't think, in this session, so that makes a huge difference. But anywho, yeah, so thank you for checking in again, and I'm really happy to have you guys here. So let me know, what do you think? Continue along this path, or start showing you guys how I got here? That's where I'm at right now. Yeah, I think that's what I would like to consider going forward. I'll try and release this video as soon as I can, and then I may take a couple days of a break because I do have a lot of schoolwork going on right now, and I'll tell you more about that as I go along. You don't want to hear about my schoolwork. I'll fit it in though. And yeah, I'll let you guys know what's up. And so thank you for being patient through this update video, and as always for watching. And I will check in again as soon as I can. See you guys soon.